Hey everyone, it's Dan, first person looter, and despite what David Jaffe said, I'm more than happy to do an introduction. I don't feel like I'm wasting my time doing it. I started to watch some of the reviews of the game, and I found myself like talking about it out loud. I'm like, oh yeah, that is cool. And then I thought maybe I should do a review. I should do a video of me reacting to some of the reviews. I don't know, might be kind of fun thing to do. You can see I had only gotten about halfway before I realized maybe I should do that. I don't know if it remembers my spot or not. It does. It does. So let's have some fun here. This guy, I think he reviewed Snow Runner, and I like that review. So let's check this out. I don't remember the beginning here, so maybe. What? Yeah. What is? Hey, what is all purple? I didn't have that. I guess they've updated it since
and a tiny Trackmania Turbo. Hot Wheels
whenever this came out.
Is an endearing arcade stunt racer
or maybe you get
feels
that
great
with the
and
DeLorean
looks
specifically.
Absolutely remarkable. With tracks creatively weaved through lavishly detailed life-sized environments and brimming with a catalogue of cars spilled straight out of the toy bucket, developer Milestone's
Straight out of the toy bucket.
down on a brand of racing 64 times smaller than usual has been a consummate success.
Is that a real
Highly
measurement?
accessible
64
yet full
times
of
smaller?
advanced techniques, devilish shortcuts, and creative tools to master, Hot Wheels Unleashed is one of the best,
I'd like to
most
figure that out
customizable,
more.
and most imaginative arcade races I've played in at least a decade.
Oh, I see. I want to get this guy to walk around behind me or in front or to the side and compliment me. The way he compliments things is so nice.
Hot Wheels Unleashed recreates the world's most popular die-cast cars in their authentic scale, and in environments where they're dwarfed by barn-sized basketballs and boom boxes as big as buildings. This makes Hot Wheels Unleashed more in line with pint-sized peers like 1998's Hot Wheels Stunt Track Driver or 2007's Hot Wheels Beat That, as opposed to style
Is that what those are?
as big as buildings. This makes Hot Wheels Unleashed more in line with pint-sized peers like 1998's Hot Wheels Stunt
Hot Wheels 1990. No, this has to be the same game. 1999. This is not that. Oh, they're just showing the split screen of two people playing together. Okay, I thought because you mentioned two different past games, I thought he was putting those games on the split screen, but this is the same game in split screen mode. Love that they're split screen. You don't get that anymore. And thank God Borderlands 3 did it. Thank God It Takes Two does it, but really you don't really get much of them. I guess Plants vs. Zombies does, right?
Track Driver or 2007's Hot Wheels Beat That, as opposed to styleless duds like
Look
Hot
at
Wheels
that.
Turbo
Oh my
Racing
God,
or
those
Hot
loops.
Wheels
That's
World's Best
crazy.
Driver, which simply supersized the toys to race them like regular cars. Staying
Yeah,
tiny was a terrific choice, and not simply because the atmosphere is endlessly more charming at toy scale. The one-to-one recreations of
It
Hot
is
Wheels
charming.
cars here are regularly nothing short of
How do you
stunning.
zoom in like that? How do you do that? I gotta figure out photo mode. For once, I actually want to do
Range
photo
towards
mode.
More recent models, or at least recent versions of classic castings, like the iconic twin mill, and even a 50th anniversary version of the quirky Dodge Deora, one of the first 16 cars Hot Wheels ever made.
One of the first 16 cars they ever made. Really? Huh.
There's also a handful of real cars in the mix, which I think is great for variety and perfect for anyone who may not be huge fans of cars shaped like giant hamburgers.
So there aren't Hot Wheels that are made to look like real small cars. They just made a Hot Wheels version of a real car for the game specifically? And he's Captain Flashheart. Is that what his name is? That's his name. It's nice to see that even a professional gamer that's doing a review for a major company like IGN finds himself in second place at any time. Makes me feel better. I don't know what difficulty this is, but
The small selection of film and TV
Fifth
cars
place.
are easily my favorites though, and I don't expect I'll do much racing in anything but the Back to the Future DeLorean.
that's what I was saying in my stream before, that he said he liked the DeLorean and he was gonna just stay with it. But the speed is 3, the acceleration is 4, handling is 4. Nothing is at full speed. Nothing is at 100%. The boost isn't all the way up either, and it's just the one line, which I do like because I can just use a little bit of boost. But like that doesn't seem like that would be that great of a car by the numbers. So maybe that's why I was saying maybe those stats don't matter as much as I thought. Or he just likes it because he just likes the car and it's just fun to do, regardless of whether he's losing or not. He just enjoys it. It is the only thing that's highlighted as a favorite. Oh,
Now that I've unlocked it, finishing the campaign has given me some ultra rare original models, which are great picks by milestone. I do still have quite a few cars to unlock though, and doing so is slow going because cars are only purchasable a la carte from a selection of 5 random models, which rotates every 4 hours of play, not real time. That simply feels like too long. The only thing I want my kids to do for 4 consecutive hours is sleep.
I'm
The
glad he
remaining
gets caught in
option
the
is
spider.
winning or purchasing blind boxes, which thankfully can only be bought with in-game currency to try and get
So that's an
something
Xbox
different.
he's on?
Of
Oh, it
course, the
said
last time I
Xbox at the
saved
beginning,
up
yes.
a pile of these, I opened 4 of the same car in the space of a few minutes, which was deeply unsatisfying.
Yeah, getting that same car, I feel that. At least you can break it down for parts or sell it for coins, so you'll get something useful out of it. I also like to have a duplicate so I can upgrade one of the duplicates and try it out, and if it turns out that the upgrades are just garbage, well, then at least I know I don't have to upgrade it again. And sometimes even like I might prefer like the upgrade goes from 2 dots to or it's like a single bar boost to a couple dots boost. And maybe I realize like, I don't like these dot boosts. I just want the one bar that I can use bits here and there. And I prefer that. Well, as long as I have a duplicate, I can delete the upgraded one and use the original one that I had. So it's like going back on an upgrade. Yeah, I don't mind having a couple duplicates for sure. I don't know about having 4 cars of the same thing.
That said, the car models themselves are simply gorgeous, and every one I've collected so far is an unflinchingly faithful recreation of the miniatures they represent, down to
Awesome.
the tiniest details. The texture differences between plastic and
How do you
lacquered
do
metal
that?
parts.
How do you change those things? Where is that from? I didn't see that. I could change the whatever there's a I forgot what the word is because I've never seen that word before. But I'm just changing the paint material. How do you change this? Maybe this is only after you finish the campaign or complete one of the secrets.
The subtle mold lines left from the assembly process, the broad range of paint finishes, the stamped text beneath the chassis carrying the model name and production year. I'm still finding myself just rotating them around, stopped in my tracks by how fantastic they look.
Exactly. But maybe like seeing the underside is when you customize the car with the paint jobs and all that. I don't know how people are customizing cars like that. I wanted to do that, but anyway.
As impressive as they are out of their boxes, they look even better after some door handle to door handle action out on track. Here's where
Door
they
handle
really
to
start
door
resemble
handle.
the toy cars strewn around my youngest son's room, chipped, scratched, and play worn by the demands of their 7-year-old automotive overlord.
But that's also mainly because you went through the poison gas stuff that really messed it up. It's not going to look like that on a race without that poison.
Cars correctly lose paint on their vulnerable corners and edges. Faint scratches appear on larger flat surfaces.
Yeah,
Black
that's...
plastic is revealed under the silver coating.
How did it zoom into multiple cars like that? How did you do that? Mine ended like this, just right here, the way you see it here. I didn't see it change anything, change camera angles at all.
And printed tampos are partially rubbed away. Under the right light, child-sized fingerprints can be observed, especially on windscreens.
Has photo
and
mode,
even
okay.
their plastic tires become ringed with the kinds of gouges a pristine Hot Wheels car will pick up after an afternoon of pounding the pavement. Milestone's success in making the cars look so
Lively layers created. Yeah, I gotta figure that out. That was the word. The only thing I could change was the paint job, but
credible is a huge part of what makes Hot Wheels Unleashed so joyful to play. This ridiculously good level of detail also extends to the environments themselves, from the scuffed and etched surfaces of the iconic soft plastic tracks to almost unnoticeable flourishes like air bubbles underneath the hastily applied guardrail stickers. The backdrops are
cool. I don't think I saw that at all. Yeah, so we're past where I had gotten. Okay, I don't remember that at all.
excellent too, especially the vast cityscape buried in cloud that surrounds the construction
Yeah,
site.
that scares me.
What really sells it is the outstanding lighting, which regularly comes from multiple sources all around each map.
Yeah, it looks like
whether
ray
that's the
tracing.
neon of a jukebox, harsh fluorescent tubes, or the glaring sun itself. The lighting seats the cars into the environments outstandingly well.
except for when it's shining right in your face as you're approaching a turn and you can't even see the turn because everything's all blown out.
Well, the level of granular detail seems to speak volumes about how deeply everything has
I
been
love the
considered
blue
here,
there
and it all
and
combines to
pink
create
over
an
there.
extremely believable miniature world.
Pedal to the Mattel. Oh.
Okay, Luke, you're probably saying. It's pretty and it tugs at the heartstrings of the Hot Wheels faithful. But how does it play? Fair, and you've probably been waiting for the other shoe to drop. But in a surprise twist, Hot Wheels Unleashed handles very well actually. Its arcade-typical brake-to-drift racing is intuitive and easy to pick up, but there's a lot of nuance hidden in its air controls. Once mastered, or at least moderately tamed, the air controls can be exploited to uncover sneaky shortcuts, sail over opponents, or salvage a misdirected jump.
Air controls. So I guess maybe a huge thing that I'm missing about this game is the fact that they don't just want you to know that it's a toy track. It's Hot Wheels. They've miniaturized it. They're not just reminding you that it's driving a toy. It's that it's a toy. It's light. You have to imagine that you're playing it as a kid who holds the car and rolls it. When kids do that, they lift it up and they send it flying through the air, and it's not just that hovering thing where I spun upside down and was on an upside down track, but the boosts are the kid taking it and flying it across the track like I guess kids did. I didn't really play with these too much, as I said in a previous video, but I guess that's the idea. They want you to fly over multiple stretches of track, like the one jump that I was able to discover on my own. A kid, of course, will take the car and fly and spin it and then drop it down. Yeah, they'll do that. That's so cool. I can't really by default think in that way. I think in terms of realism, even in a kind of a goofy-ish game like this. So I wonder how the game expects you to discover that kind of stuff. Do they expect you to find it on your own after playing a bunch of times? Do they expect you to find it by watching videos like this, or talking to friends, or all of the above, or none of the above? I don't know. Look at that. Wow. So you do boost in the air, and you can keep boosting in the direction that your camera's facing, even though you've turned your car to the 9 o'clock position. Oh, I guess my camera's flipped. To the 9 o'clock position, your car is still going to keep going that way as long as your camera's pointed that way.
Uncover sneaky shortcuts, sail
I see the wind. I see the wind all around.
opponents, or salvage a misdirected jump.
I see the wind. Yeah, wind is... He's turned 90 degrees, but
simple to highly technical,
how do you figure that out?
Design is brilliant across the board, constructed with curving and twisting stretches of Hot Wheels tracks, but linked with segments of the environments themselves. One moment you'll be power sliding across orange plastic, and the next you'll be whizzing across benches, air vents, shelves, and the floor itself flanked by tiny cones. Particularly impressive is the use of every axis, with magnetic track making vertical climbs, drops, and even racing across the roof possible. It means that while 6 maps doesn't sound like a lot on paper, in practice, the way Hot Wheels Unleashed utilizes the layers
exactly
and every nook and cranny they contain keeps it feeling fresh throughout the duration of its most...
Yes, it's 6 rooms, but the room is like miles long in relation to how tiny you are. So there's tons of space. Each room is just the equivalent of miles and miles of space.
Campaign. Every event has a lower end goal that will reward you for achieving and allow you to continue, but there are tougher goals for completionists, and some of the later time trials really force you to search for high risk shortcuts.
Really force you to search for shortcuts. Which, if you want to do it yourself, I guess it means don't try to win the race at first. Just drive slowly and look around. That's one thing I wish. I wish the right joystick could allow you to sort of look around. I can see why you would never want that when you're actually driving, but I can see it why you would want it even when you're driving. Maybe you want to see exactly where the other car is to your right. I know you can see it on the map, the mini map down below, but maybe you want to just move your camera over and see exactly how far they are to your... But then, yeah, things like this. I don't want to have to turn my car completely in the direction that I need to look. It'd be nice to rotate the camera. Maybe there's like a button you can press to activate the camera while you're driving, and then press it again, and it locks the camera back to straight ahead.
I can only speak anecdotally, but so far Hot Wheels Unleashed has done a good job at entertaining both kids under 10 and a 40-year-old car nerd. Although I feel like a few more race types would have been nice. Pursuits in little cop cars or eliminations or just something else. As it stands, there are just races and time trials, and the online options seem especially barren as a result. That said, my kids have taken to playing a makeshift brand of tag in split screen on the floors of the maps. Split screen is 2-player, not 4, sadly, but it runs very smoothly on Xbox Series X and has been an absolute hoot. I thought about letting my son interject here, but all he'd contribute is unrestrained cackling. Even if you do get tired of the available tracks, Hot Wheels Unleashed features an extremely deep custom track editor to let you build and share your own. It probably took me a full afternoon to come to grips with the tools, which are quite complex.
Full afternoon for this guy. Wow, so alright. Once again, I don't feel bad for not fully understanding. I saw what was moving, but I would just forget which buttons were which, and sometimes the layout around there was sort of hard to see. The white text sometimes was hard to see in front of some of the backgrounds.
But once I really
it's not a big
learned how
issue.
to bend the editor to my will, I was able to create Mount Barfarama, a monster that wrapped itself around and through virtually every piece of furniture in my Hot Wheels themed basement.
Let's see if he sounds like he likes, except for like not the most variety of tracks. He seems to like everything else. So 9 out of 10. If the only thing is that there weren't as many tracks as he'd like.
Fast and damn near photorealistic at times, Hot Wheels Unleashed is a surprising and brilliant arcade racer.
Brilliant.
Carefully detailed, highly customizable, and buoyantly uncynical. This toy racer defies all expectations with remarkable attention to detail, excellent track design, and an
well, before I get a review, what was that? I thought he was
uncynical.
fell off the damn track. How would you know to do this? You can't see anything down there. How would you know? I still don't see anything. What are you possibly looking at? Oh, because you're upside down right now, so you want to fall off the track and land on this beam that's above you? Is that what he did? Oh my god. How much time does that save?
Carefully detailed, highly customizable, and buoyantly uncynical.
I wonder if you can pause these games and go into photo mode during the drive. That's the way you can stop and look around and see where shortcuts are. Maybe.
This toy race.
Because he would wrap all the way back there. Oh! He would go all the way around here and down there. And then I don't know where. I don't know what point you would come out to this thing.
It defies all expectations.
It was a purple thing. It would have gone back down that way.
With remarkable attention to detail, excellent track design, and an accessible handling model that still rewards high skill. The racing may be tiny, but
yes,
make no mistake,
9.
This game is enormous fun. For more recent racing verdicts, check out our reviews for WRC 10 and F1.
I realize that didn't sound right if you don't see my hand. Rude boy, we'll go on my selector. No, I'm going flying. Aw, that's awesome. For you, but I recommend Hot Wheels. Okay, skills. I didn't really. Not what I mean. I didn't really. I did not at all agree with Skill Up bashing The Last of Us Part 2. I really liked it. When I saw their thumbnail for it, saying I did not enjoy this at all, I thought it was just a reference to like how like sad and what is, you know, how sad the game is. But he was still gonna like praise it for its ability to be effective in it being so emotional, but no, they didn't like it. So once he didn't like it, I started to wonder if maybe I shouldn't not that I shouldn't trust them. I trust their reviews, but if it would help me know what they consider to be a good game, and then if they consider games that I like to be bad, then maybe I could watch another review, and if they hated the game, maybe that means that would be another game I'd like. I don't know. But then I saw some reviews where they did really enjoy games that I also really enjoyed. I think Kena Bridge of Spirits, I think they reviewed something that I had really liked, and I thought they were going to bash that too, but they loved it, so.
This video is brought to you by Squarespace. Stick around to the
I can
end
hear
of
his
the video for a
room. I
special
can hear the
offer they're
room
making
tone.
available through my channel. Hot Wheels Unleashed.
Oh, not
Bet
anymore.
you're surprised to see me reviewing this one. Well, that makes two of us. I got sent a code for this a little while ago, and I'm like, okay, thanks for that. It looks fun, but I'm probably not going to have time for that one. I essentially just put it out of my mind. Nevertheless, I installed it, thinking, just in case I want to boot it up, no harm, might as well.
No.
I've got worse things installed on my hard drive. Warzone. So why not? So this weekend, I'm sitting on my couch.
That's
I'm
not
locked down
him.
here in Sydney, and it's raining outside, and I am bored. And just like my hand on a Ouija board, I found myself just mousing over this and clicking play as though Mattel had somehow assumed remote control of me. I played Hot Wheels for like 2 hours, and then I stopped and played 4 hours of Halo Infinite multiplayer.
No. I mean, yeah, I
Then
like.
I played like 5 hours of Hot Wheels. The next day, I played Hot Wheels in the morning, stopped to play some more Halo, and then I played Hot Wheels in the evening. The following day was a similar split. This is a game I expected to play for no more than 15 minutes, but I think I'm about 15 hours deep now. I wasn't planning to review this game, but I had such a good time with it that I feel like I should
Deep.
show it to you. I always like bringing you stuff that is flying below the radar or stuff that is unexpectedly good, because I think that's the best.
Or
service
flying
on the
below
channel.
the couch or
This
the
is
table.
flying a little under the radar, or at least it was before all the awesome reviews came in. And the
Aww.
reviews are great because it is unexpectedly good. It's not incredible. It's not immediately going to take its place alongside arcade racing greats like Burnout or Cruisin' or even the classic Micro Machine games on which I grew up.
Whoa.
This is still a really solid game with some super strong fundamentals that will set it up very well. For
Yeah, like, and I had said I didn't think I was really gonna ever buy a racing game. I have no interest in Forza or Gran Turismo. Not that I can play Forza because I don't have an Xbox or a PC. Like, the graphics look outstanding. I would maybe choose Forza over Gran Turismo because Forza looked like it actually has better graphics and just better places to race. I like that real open world, whereas Gran Turismo seems to all be on these sort of barren, boring racetracks. Because yes, I'm not trying to be a fanboy about any one system. I have the PlayStation, but I can say and not be upset about it that I'd prefer to play Forza out of the two, which I can't because I don't have an Xbox. But still, I mean, racing games wasn't really my thing, but for some reason, when I saw whatever I saw originally that introduced me to this, I don't know if it was a trailer during one of the PlayStation events or it was just a random trailer I saw in my YouTube recommendations. I was like, like, as soon as I saw it, I was like, that looks cute, I guess, but it's a racing game. I don't know, but I don't know. Within a few seconds later, and I was like really wanting to get it. I don't know if like SnowRunner opened something up inside of me. Even though it's a very slow game, but it's a driving game. It's a car game, truck game. And I didn't think I would be into that, even though I played Rad Racer.
Future. That future thing is kind of a blessing and a curse, as you get the feeling that Hot Wheels are holding back a little in order to give the title some long-term prospects. But despite this, there's still more than enough here to make Hot Wheels a really worthwhile game.
What would they be holding
Perfect
back?
kind of game to play on your own against the impressive AI or against other people. It's perfect for kids and adults since its driving physics are as approachable as they are deep. It's perfect for split screen
easy.
play at home or online play against people
On easy, it's approachable. On medium, it seems like a freaking nightmare.
halfway across the world. In particular, it's perfect for those interested in custom track creation and the community content ecosystem that comes with that. Bottom line, Hot Wheels Unleashed is a fun racing game that is only going to get more fun as time goes on, and I totally recommend it.
And they don't give like rating, like numbers. They're not going to give it a 9 out of 10 or whatever. Or do they? I don't know.
Let's talk technical stuff first. Hot Wheels Unleashed is out now for PlayStation, Xbox, PC, and Switch. I played it on the PC. I tested it on an RTX 2080 Ti running at 4K resolution, max settings. Extremely impressed with its performance. I was able to consistently maintain a solid 60 FPS no matter what was going on screen. I tried to test split screen, but I don't have anyone else to play with, so I raced around on the left screen, and then nothing was happening on the right screen. Kind of sad, but that's just how it is. And the point is, though, it still ran beautifully. No sort of downscaling visible, no performance issues, whatever else. I had 0 bugs or crashes my entire playthrough. Loading time was lightning fast.
That's a good point. I haven't thought about that. I haven't gotten any bugs or crashes. I mean, unless my physics that are doing things that I'm just like, what? I thought that was a bug, but I guess not. Yeah, no bugs, no crashes. Yeah.
The whole thing was just flawless. As I mentioned before, the 2080 Ti does struggle with 4K.
The other video said they have been doing this for 15 games now, this company, so I guess they know how to make a solid game. At the very least, they can do one that doesn't crash or have bugs.
60 at this point, but it didn't struggle here. Obviously, I can't speak to performance on other platforms, so if you are planning on picking it up on a console, be sure to find a review that talks about performance on your platform. The PC options are pretty good, actually. There are plenty of graphical settings to tweak, including motion blur, which I left on, since motion blur does great things for that sensation of speed, particularly when boosting. There's full keyboard button remapping, but I don't think you'd want to play this on a keyboard. I sure as hell didn't. I played it on an Xbox controller, and I was happy to see that there's also full remapping for controllers as well. All of this culminates in what is a very impressive looking game. The footage here is 4K that you're seeing, so feel free to switch over to that if your screen supports it. Regardless of the resolution you're watching at, you're going to see some fantastic visuals that do a brilliant job of conveying a sense of scale.
Yeah, I got it.
In basements and skate parks and
I just can't stream like that with my
and all of their pieces
HD 60S Plus.
And over them and alongside them or straight up them if you're on that special magnetic track. You don't pay attention to a lot of this stuff at first since you're kind of learning the tracks and just trying to stay on the road, but as you get more familiar and comfortable, your eyes begin to wander and you can start taking in all of the detail that these developers have poured into these.
You know what would be crazy? I'm looking at these chairs that they're passing under.
The tracks and just trying to stay on the road.
Yeah, like this chair that they're about to pass under. I was like, could you imagine if someone was sitting there and like moved their foot or something? Like that would be an interesting level of change. Like what if they just had people physically not even sitting there but walking across the room and like the foot like came down onto the track or something? Or just seeing them walking around in the background, even if they don't ever interfere with your playthrough. Like even if they step over the track, that'd be so cool if they're able to somehow time it so as we're all coming around to a certain part, the animation is timed so you'll generally see it like flying over you, a foot coming over and then landing. You could even do it where like maybe the feet cause physics. So if like a foot stomps down, even if it's not on the track as something to obstruct your driving, maybe it stomps down right next to it and it shakes the whole thing and maybe sends you up in the air a little bit and gives you a little bit of air time. And you just have to know like, okay, if I get up in the air, I got to be sure that I'm not right next to the edge of the track, because once I get up, if I'm still moving, I'm going to move over the track. That'd be interesting.
But as you get more familiar and comfortable, your eyes begin to wander, and you can start taking in all of the detail that these developers have poured into these levels. They all look brilliant. The game doesn't just look good though, it's also very functional and clear. The camera is pulled right back, the field of view is very generous, on-screen action never feels cluttered or obscured. Some races, particularly arcade races, don't put a premium on visual clarity, and since stuff moves so fast, it can kind of be tough to see everything. Hot Wheels never has that problem. It's one of the cleanest looking racing games I've played. These environments are an impressive.
How many have you played?
Action, but they are
you talked about that earlier.
They each have their own visual flavor, with the lighting in particular setting them apart. The basement level has these clean wooden floors reflecting fluorescent white light, while the garage is all neon blues and purples. You appreciate
you can change your basement, and that's the basement you see.
For a little more identity within each of those settings, with stuff like a basement, a college campus, a garage, a construction site on a skyscraper, etc. I really expected that the track design would lean into those settings more. Maybe an oil spill section in the garage, maybe a wrecking ball swinging across the track in the construction site.
Yeah.
Maybe you have to weave in between moving billiard balls on the basement level, etc. None of that exists, sadly. Every level has plenty of visual assets that
would have been really
belong in that
cool,
space,
yeah.
but those assets don't do anything. Racing in the basement is functionally the same as racing in the garage, and it does feel like a bit of a missed opportunity. The lack of identity also extends to the cars as well. First of all, I've got to say, the cars look spectacular. Amazing.
Yes, they do.
I want to catch them all. So finely detailed, right down to the interior of each car being modeled. These cars look so good that they are distracting as you race alongside them. Obviously, I'm a bit too old for Hot Wheels now, but I imagine kids who are playing with these toys are going to go totally wild for this. But even as an adult, I'm like, damn, they look good. When we think Hot Wheels, we think crazy cars,
they do.
which might lead you to think that these cars do crazy things. You see a dinosaur car and you ask, okay, what does that one do? The answer? Nothing. None of them do anything distinctive. Every car is essentially just a skin with some different handling physics and unique stats, but no more than that. There are 66
I don't even
cars
notice
in
the
game
handling
at
physics
launch,
being
and
different
many,
unless
many
you...
more coming in future, including cars.
I don't notice the handling physics being any different unless you change the difficulty modes. Maybe slightly different, but not a huge amount.
Cars from licenses like Ninja Turtles and Batman and all sorts of fun stuff. But it's hard to be excited for that stuff since these new cars are essentially just cosmetic skins. If you wanted to sell me a Batmobile that fired giant batarangs, I'd be on board. But if it's just another car that happens to look like the Batmobile, then that's less impressive. At the very least, I imagine that there would be categories of cars, high-performance supercars or low-spec jalopies.
Well, there
or
are
trucks,
there
or
are the
combat
trucks.
cars or whatever, and that there would be different categories of races that asked you to use specific cars in your
Oh, there is. There's the truck rally. I guess that happened before this came out, or I have a misunderstanding about what the game's doing. But on the map that I saw, there's the monster truck rally, and then you have monster trucks here. I haven't seen a monster truck. I haven't been paying attention though, but I haven't seen a monster truck racing with him, so maybe that didn't come out yet.
That is not the case. You can use any car in any race, and I certainly reached the conclusion that using the fast cars was always the better play. I would be drag racing the AI, and they were just straight up faster than me, and my car really didn't have any other benefits to make up for that. I really tried to experiment with other slower cars, like this clip here in the bus is a good example. I did this race a few times, and I just couldn't win with the bus since it's really low speed, but then I switched over to my fast car and I just completely dumpstered my opponents. There might be an angle that I'm missing here, but that was certainly my experience. So while these settings and these cars don't have the distinctive identity...
Yeah, it makes me wonder if like the cars are either about equal, give or take, a little bit of handling, a little bit of speed. They're all about the same, or there's goofy cars that are just way terrible, but it's just fun to have it. It's just because it's just funny. But there's like no like middle ground where there's a bunch of cars and then a few cars that are perfect and just will blow everyone else out of the way. And maybe they do that so if you go online, you're not going to feel like you're wasting your time playing online because you have a normal car, but there's somebody that's got one of those very few super duper exotic cars that's going to win. They're going to win because they got the car that nobody else has. That very few people have. And I'm sure Hot Wheels doesn't want that to happen, for you to log into a race and immediately when you see all the cars, there's that one car that's like a super duper rare car. But like, and you can't ever upgrade it because it's just max across the board, everything, and it handles perfectly, and it just, yeah, I don't know.
...that I would have liked. The thrill of driving on these tracks with these cars is always excellent. Hot Wheels Unleashed has very impressive driving mechanics.
Hey, Wayne,
it's a really good balance between approachability and depth. It's very pick up and play, such that kids or less experienced racers can immediately get to grips with it and start having fun, but it's also packed with plenty of subtle details that more experienced players can utilize to their advantage. There are two core mechanics at work, boost and drift. Boost is exactly what you think it is. Car go faster. You charge this passively at all times, but you charge it faster by drifting. boost starts out as something you're just spamming whenever it's up,
Dude, come
but
here.
over time you figure out that boost is really important for cleanly exiting certain corners or when riding up loops. You also learn when not to use it, since you are not attached to that track by any means other than gravity, and a boost at the wrong time can absolutely send you into the streets.
There we go. We're going to plummet straight down. Yep. But you can use that maybe to get onto that other track right there.
drift
Maybe
is
that's the
similarly
shortcut.
deceptive in its design and complexity. You simply tap the brake to drop into a drift, but it takes a long time to really learn how to do this properly, and it's slightly different for each car based on their handling physics. You see me bumping into walls a lot in this footage, and that's because most of the footage is from when I started playing, and it's hard to get to grips with this mechanic. It's not a Ridge Racer style magnet that sucks you around the corner like you're on rails. You really have to know how to precisely do it, and the cost of getting it wrong is pretty low since you just lose a little bit of speed, but the upside to getting it right is that skill ceiling I mentioned earlier, rewarding players who take the time to perfect the technique. The sensation of speed in this game is fantastic. Because you're so small and the world is so big, there was a risk that it would feel like you were moving really slowly, but that's just never the case. There's this great balance between these big environments.
Because there's just a lot of little things on the track. All these little individual green lights, which they said is not on the original tracks, obviously, because the tracks are just plastic. There's no electronic things you plug in. But those lights passing you help to give you a sense of speed. All the little blue connection dots pass by. They help you to give a sense of speed. Also, just the changes in the directions of the road, the constant changes and the different colors of the track. You can see those changes approaching you faster. And then, of course, all the cars that are flying past you, or that you're flying past. And then the wind effects, and all the little, like the wind that's passing by the whole camera, and the wind and whatever coming out of each of the cars.
Environments and making it feel like you're zooming through them, with the boost in particular always feeling really on point.
Yeah, like the boost strip has got like patterns on it. Look at the ground has got a bunch of like splattered pink stuff all over. All the individual little cones. There's tons of things that are scaled down to your size that will pass by you really fast to give you that sense of speed, I think.
But that's just never the case.
Even the texture, the ground has a clear texture that's passing you.
There's this great balance between these big environments and making it feel like you're zooming through them, with the boost in particular always feeling really on point. Basic handling is great. I always look forward to the moment when the starting gun would fire and I'd be in control of my car. Like, I actually took breaks in the middle of scripting this review to play more of it, because more than anything else, I just enjoy racing these cars.
You're not boosting at all right now.
feels
Interesting.
fun,
Look at that.
And that is the most
There you
important
go.
thing. In terms of game modes, there's your standard quick play, which has a whole bunch of tracks to choose from, most of which have to be unlocked by playing through the campaign. There's 2-player split screen and online match-made multiplayer. There is a time trials mode.
I'll
and this
stream
is the mode
myself doing
allows
that
you
one
to
time,
play
doing the
community-made
online
tracks.
stuff.
I don't believe you can race other people on these tracks. At least I couldn't find the option to do that during
Oh,
the
that would be
Quick
cool,
note on the
yeah.
AI, it does not mess around. There are
That would be cool to race other players online on custom tracks. The AI is no joke, he was just saying. Oh boy, you better believe it. But so is the physics. Nobody's talking about the physics. I guess it's just me.
4 difficulties to play against. I played on normal, which is like 2 out of 4, and yeah, the AI was tough. I was impressed by how on my toes I had to be if I was going to win. You do not cruise to victory when playing on normal. You still have to work for it. Younger players are almost certainly going to want to drop down to like that easy mode, while more experienced players will find plenty more
Young players and players like myself.
challenge by exploring those remaining 2 difficulties. The campaign is City Rumble, which is set on those old roadmap maps we used to play on as kids, and it's filled with dozens of nodes. Each one is either a race against other AI cars or a time trial. There's no other diversity within that campaign. As I mentioned earlier, it would have been great to see some weird game modes where you do weird stuff, but sadly that is absent. The campaign is long, by the way. Expect to spend 15 to 20 hours clearing out this map and 100%ing everything. There are a lot of races here, 44 tracks in total, so if you're looking for sheer content like bang for buck, this definitely delivers. But with so little diversity in the settings and the race modes, it does start to feel repetitive. The repetitiveness also stems from how limited a lot of the early track design is. For the first half of the campaign, many of the tracks feel kind of vanilla, for want of a better term. They're always competent, they're well paced with a good mix of straights and corners and technical sections and spectacle. But a lot of these tracks just feel kind of nondescript. Nothing really sets them apart from me.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, yeah, the rooms don't change. We discussed that in another video, but I think the styles of tracks are changing enough. There's like the exact copy of a track. When you do a normal race and then a timed race, it's the exact same track and the exact same location. But so far, there's been enough varying for me. But I don't play many racing games, so it's all sort of new to me, I guess.
Any other track you've done. Eventually, you start getting to the good stuff, and when it gets good, it gets really good.
Whoa.
Like those early tracks are 5 out of 10, and then you just start hitting straight 11s, full of so many unique, interesting sections, and leveraging the full tile set that this game holds in reserve. There's so many track sections like speed boosts and gas clouds and things that will disable your engines, or fans to the left or right of you that will push you off the track, or giant spiders hurling spider webs onto the track. There's all these really interesting...
It's interesting that I haven't seen a single one of these main reviewers in any of the footage from the main reviewer so far. None of them have dodged the spider.
things that are used in track design, but the game certainly eases you into this stuff very slowly. If you're finding the game a little dull at the start, I really encourage you to push through this stuff because it's totally worth it. The track design ends up being spectacular. However, if you don't want to wait, you don't have to, because included in Hot Wheels Unleashed are some very impressive track building and customization tools. So if you're finding the pre-made stuff a little tame, you can just make your own. Across all parts of it, Hot Wheels Unleashed is obsessed with customization and player-created content. It starts with the livery editor. Any car that you unlock comes with a base livery, but you can do whatever the hell you like to it in the livery editor.
What does livery mean?
Obviously,
I've
you
never
can change
heard
the
that
color
word.
of different components, including the chassis, the interior, the glass, and more.
I gotta
You can
figure
also
out what this is
change the
all about.
material
How am I
of these
missing
things.
this?
You know that really smart
And both times I've seen all of this extra customization that's been on an Xbox. How do they do that?
plastic that Hot Wheels are made out of? You can change your entire car to be made out of that should you choose. There's a decal editor as well, with the option to add multiple layers of decals and size and color them differently. When you're done, you can save it for yourself and also upload it to a public database. Now anyone can immediately view and download your livery with just 2 or 3 button presses. When I got a new car, the first...
I can advertise myself then. Everything will have the first person looter logo on it. I'll put the... If you can upload your own, or I'll type out whatever you want, or at least I'll name it first person looter vehicle number 1. Look at that, the Ataxi. Oh, I like that time Ataxi. Crazy Taxi. I did love Crazy Taxi. I love that game.
First thing I did was bring up the community-made liveries because they were always better than what the developers had made. And that was just the review window with basically no one playing and no one making stuff. Then there's the basement editor. This is a little weird. The basement is one of the levels in which you can create custom tracks. You can edit the actual room, the wall textures, the floors, ceilings, the decals on the arcade cabinets, and the art on the walls. You unlock these customizations during the playthrough of the campaign, and then you can make this room your own. What's cool though is that if you do create a custom track in the basement and upload that to the public database, people will see not only your custom track, but also the custom basement that you built it in, which is a nice touch.
Yeah,
This
that's
brings us to
cool.
the crown jewel of Hot Wheels Unleashed. It's
Crown
Track
jewel?
Editor. Now I'm aware that other stuff like this exists elsewhere, particularly in Trackmania, but I'm not into that, so I can't tell you if this is any better or worse than the tools provided there. Similarly, I'm not the kind of player that spends hours in level editors. I like to consume what others make, not make it myself. Having said that, I was so impressed by these tools and how easy they were to use. Within just a few minutes, I was able to create a complete track that basically sucked, but it had good bones. If I sat there for a few hours, I reckon I could bang out a pretty great track. There's 3 things that make this possible. Number 1, the environments themselves are pretty great. They don't have interactive elements, but they do have lots of detail you can build over, under, around, and there are no restrictions in this sandbox. You can build anything you want, wherever you want, and it is fun to build in these spaces. Number 2, the actual building tools themselves are great, extremely intuitive and accessible. I never bumped into anything and I was like, oh, I wish I could do this, but the tools wouldn't let me. If I could imagine it, I could build it. Finally, number 3, the track components are the best part. Everything that I saw in the campaign levels is present and buildable here in the custom tracks creator. Giant fire-breathing dragons, magnetic floor so I can race upside down on the roof, huge loop-the-loops, So many types of booster pads and environmental obstacles. As much as I enjoyed the pre-made levels, I still felt like the developers were only scratching the surface of what would be possible with these track elements, and it's going to be wild to see what the community is able to do with them, since everything you...
And maybe that's the point. They didn't want to go too crazy because they want to leave plenty of room for the community to create stuff. Since they're giving you the tools to create stuff, they probably want to see you do it. Sort of like how that was sort of Apple's mantra. What the hell, Miss Dewey? Apple's idea, as I understand it, was, you know, they make a great phone. Please, there's not too many apps on it though, because the point was they wanted the App Store to be able to be the thing that allows the user base to come up with all of the tools and stuff to make the iPhone as great as it possibly could be. I'm sure there's a cheap aspect to that. You know, you can say you can save money by not coming up with all the stuff yourself and then just claim, oh no, it's not that we wanted to save money. We wanted to give you the freedom to do all this extra stuff yourself. But I think it can be good, certainly. I think it can be good to not do everything yourself and let the users come up with stuff themselves.
You create is of course fully shareable and immediately accessible to anyone with a copy of the game. With all of these tools and customization, you get the sense that the best days of Hot Wheels Unleashed lie ahead, and that's cool, but it also might frustrate a few people looking for a more immediate fix from their arcade racer. Tracks, a lengthy campaign, 66 cars, and all of the building and customization tools included. That is good value for money right there. One thing that really sucks though is the way the game handles unlocking new cars. So as I said, I'm about 15 hours deep now, and I've only unlocked a handful of cars. Definitely not very many. The way you unlock cars in the game is mainly through what are called blind boxes. They are essentially loot boxes. You earn them in the campaign, but very few of them. You can buy them with gold coins, but you earn this currency really slowly, and then you spend that to buy blind boxes, which contain absolutely anything, including duplicates. In the limited time that I played the game, and the small number of
I was muted.
boxes I was able to open, I got 2 duplicates. Now, these can be broken down, but when you do that, you don't get gold coins to buy more boxes, you get gears, which are what's used to upgrade the stats of your cars. There's a very small selection of cars that you can directly purchase with gold coins. There's only ever 5 at a time, and they rotate every few hours. So if a car you need is up and you have the coin, cool. If not, bad luck. I bought one car from there that cost like 1,500 coins, or the equivalent of 3 blind boxes. That currency took me a long ass time to earn in the campaign.
So yeah, I mean, that's where I feel like I lucked out. That I was able to get all the vast majority of cars by waiting until this edition came out with all the DLCs attached to it automatically. And I got it for a sale price for half the price that he did.
And it did not feel good spending it on a single car. Right now, there's no way to buy more of these gold coins with real money, but I would not be surprised if this functionality gets added after the reviews are said and done, because
well, it hasn't. I didn't see anything where I could use real money, so that's good.
This economy feels way too stingy right now. And with the duplicates dropping and no gold coins awarded when you dismantle your duplicates, and almost no option to purchase the specific cars you...
Oh, but you can sell it though. You don't have to just dismantle it. You can sell it for coins now.
Chasing, the whole thing looks and smells suspiciously like a gacha economy to me, and I would not be surprised if the microtransactions got turned on at some point. I'm not saying they will, maybe I'm being cynical, but the rest of the game is really good. So you know that these people know how to make a good game. But the economy really sucks. So you have to wonder why these people who know how to make a really good game chose to make such a shitty progression economy.
Well, that I don't know. I don't know why they did it that way, but they certainly still aren't charging any real world money for upgrades, so that's awesome.
I suspect there's a reason for that. I guess we'll find out. But look, even if those microtransactions were turned on, I still would not feel remotely ripped off by this game. Between the 44 campaign tracks and the 66 cars already in, and the unlimited customization on livery and the robust track editor that allows you to create and share any track your imagination can conjure, There's a lot of game there for 69 Australian dollars. More than the checklist of features though, Hot Wheels Unleashed runs beautifully, looks nice, handles well, and it's super fun. It's staying installed on my PC because I want to come back to it.
Awesome.
I want to play more of the tracks that I've already experienced because they're great tracks. I want to see what the community creates, and I want to race other players online because that's something I couldn't do during the review window. I've mentioned stuff like Dirt 5 or the more recent Riders Republic.
Yeah, Riders Republic I really wanted to play, but that's only online racing, right? Dirt 5, I wonder, is that only online?
Just fun games that are well made that you can boot up when you have some spare time. Hot Wheels Unleashed is one of those games, and I really look forward to seeing how this continues to grow. Hot Wheels Unleashed, I recommend it. This video was brought to you by Squarespace, the best place to build a professional looking website for your hobby, business, or just because you feel like it. Let's say you want to have a career in video games or content creation. Having your own website would be a damn good start.
Okay, well that's cool. All right, I gotta end this thing here because now I gotta go do work stuff. But I think that was fun to watch those 2 trailers. I muted myself for a little bit, so I'll probably just edit that out because I'm not going back and figuring out what it was that I muted and then redoing it. So anyway, good times. I'm glad people are enjoying the games. I'm glad I watched those 2 big time reviews, and I hope this was somewhat helpful. I don't know. All right, I'm Dan, First Person Looter, and I watched other people review Hot Wheels Unleashed. See you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.